going to be harder to crack than others. You're going to have to get some tools. You're going to have to learn some skill. You're going to have to learn some technique to get them open. But I can guarantee there are 2 pearls in every 100 people that you talk to. When you get better at sales and marketing, the job becomes easier. So that's what I'm teaching you here all the time. Okay. So this is sales strategy. Number 1, get your mindset right. You never prejudge what anyone can afford. There is always the same answer to every single objection. Some people will, the majority of people will say, I still don't want it. But there's going to be a small handful of people that are going to say, okay, let's do it. The problem that most people have is inconsistency with overcoming the objection, because they get so frustrated on the people that are telling them no, that they start saying in their head, like, well, I mean, I shouldn't even like tell them the thing because they're just going to tell me no. I already know what the answer is. You don't know what the answer is. You don't know what the answer is until they give you the answer. People will surprise you all the time. Never prejudge who wants to do the business. People will surprise you all the time. Okay. So just let go of any prejudgment and remind yourself, I don't know what they're going to say until they say it. So let's go ask. And then get really comfortable with rejection. You're going to have a ton of rejection. Nothing has gone wrong. It's just normal. Get really cozy with rejection. Rejection is my best friend. And I also don't like it, but yet it's a big part of my job. Okay. Even as a coach. So the consistency of it is what will always win. When I say don't prejudge and you don't know what they're going to say, you be consistent and eventually you will hit one that will do it. If you're inconsistent, the odds of you missing the one go up drastically. I want you to imagine that there's a room of 100 oysters and there is a pearl in 2 of them. And I can guarantee to you, there is a pearl in 2 of them. How likely are you to find it if you only open half of them? The odds are not great, but if you methodically and systematically go through each and every one, some of them are going to be harder to crack than others. You're going to have to get some tools. You're going to have to learn some skill. You're going to have to learn some technique to get them open. But I can guarantee there are 2 pearls in every 100 people that you talk to. And I don't mean you're going to sign up 2 out of 100. You're going to sign way more up than that. But I want you to think bigger, like business builders. You're going to go through 100. You're going to get between 10 and 30 that are going to sign up. In the 30 people, I feel like sometimes you even... The reason why I'm like hesitating right here is in the course of a year, I used to sign up between 50 and 60 people every year. One of those people would go all the way. About 5 of them would go to like the 4th from the top rank and then give up. And then there would be like 3 that would go to the rank just 2 below that. And then there would be like, gosh, dozens that would do all the rest. Okay. But we have to keep our head on straight in this process. 100 people. If we message 100 people, about 30 are going to sign up. Between 10 and 30, depending on how good you get at sales, which we're just practicing that here all the time. Then of that group, you're going to get maybe 1 business builder, right? maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, once you get your rhythm. Of those people, most of them are going to fall off. This doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. This is the oysters. I want you to just always think about opening an oyster when your brain's like, someone quit. We're opening the oysters. Emily said this would happen. We got to go get a new tool. We got to learn the skill better. We're opening the oysters. We're constantly opening the oysters. When people come to you and they say, I can't afford it, you're opening oysters. And you need to get out a tool at this point. When they say, I can't afford it, you're going to say, okay, how much could you afford? Turn it back on them. How much could you afford? And they're going to say something like, well, nothing. I'm so far behind. I can't afford anything right now. I think most people have had some time in their life where money has been tight at one point or another. We can all relate to that. Okay, so how much could you afford? And then they're going to say something like, well, I could do it if it was $70. Or they're going to say, I can't afford it at all. Something like that, right? And then we're going to talk about number one, I totally have been in those shoes before where I can't afford things. And I remember that being a really hard time in my life. I remember and this is about having a meaningful conversation with people that's authentic and real. I'm not talking about just memorized scripts here. Really good sales is a loving process. It's about having a conversation where you're connecting with another human being. This is what sets you apart from everything else. Okay. So can't afford it. What could you afford? And then they tell you, and then you say, what if it was just that amount? What if it was just $70? You said you could afford $70 for this pack. What if it was just $70? Why would you give yourself permission to spend that? Right? We want to have a conversation with them about it. We want to ask them questions. Curiosity is always the ace up your sleeve. Then they're going to say something to you like, oh, well, I mean, because that just feels better. Why does it feel better? See how we're just asking them questions? You're going to have to be nosy in sales. The nosier, the better. And in that process, the more of your own life experience that you can pull out, the better.